In this video, I'm going to work with you to create part of the houses page from the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. On the finished page, we have got the 4 different houses with the background colour being different for each. The image is floated to the left hand side, and all the text on the page is floated to the right hand side. The text for the house is white. The wireframe tells us that the images should be 200 pixels wide, and the height of each house is 300 pixels. The page that we are provided with includes the images and text for each of the 4 houses. Note the version I'm working with only gives us the first 2 houses. So let's look at our HTML. It is laid out with the image first, the H3 for the house, and then one or several paragraphs about that house. The first thing we're going to do is place a div tag over the entire house. So it starts before the house and ends after the house. Now on to the next one. Starts before the house, ends after the house. We're then going to add a div tag around the text for that house, so that we can get it floated to the right hand side. Now we've got the divs in, let's start doing some CSS. Before we start playing with the layout of our divs, let's get the sizes of our image right. We want these images within the main section of our website to be width of 200. So let's go up to the top of our document, into the style, and we'll write the rule image width 200 pixels. So our images within the main section of our website are now 200 pixels wide. However, if you look at the image within your banner, it will also be 200 pixels wide, which we don't necessarily want. We need to write CSS that will target only our images within the main section. We do this by using a descendant selector. The descendant selector means that only images within the main section of our website will have this CSS applied. Much better. This image here is 200 pixels. We want the text to take up the remaining space on the screen, which is 800 pixels. So we go into our document, we find the div that contains the text, style equals, starts our inline CSS, and we are going to say that the width of this div should be 800 pixels. We're then going to ensure that it's floated to the left hand side of the page and displayed in line with the image. Let's now see what this looks like. You can see that the image and the text are indeed displayed in line with each other. However, in our case, the image is to the right hand side of the screen and not the left hand side of the screen. We need to add CSS to our image that will specify it should be floated to the left. And now our image is floated to the left of our text. However, the image from the next section has come up and now interferes with our first section. And this is because images display in line. We need to add to the overall div for the house the clear property. And this will mean that no other div interferes with it. And I'll now copy that and apply it to the div for the other house. And now when we refresh, the 2 sections do not interfere with each other. Lastly, I'm going to my wireframe. I'm going to lift the colour code for Gryffindor, so that's the house I'm working on. And I'm going to add in some background colour. I've put the background colour in but I can't see the colour. And that is because we're using display inline and display float, that the web browser does not know the height of this div. So we have to go in and specify how high we want the div to be. And in case of the wireframe, it tells us the height should be 300 pixels. There we go, nearly finished. The last thing we have to do is set H3 to be white and our paragraph to also be white. And there the text within the Gryffindor section is now white. However, we have lost the paragraph at the start of this page. We need to use a descendant selector to specify that only paragraphs within a div tag should be coloured white. So we're going to add div prior to our p tag. And now we have the Gryffindor section finished. Now it's over to you. Using the wireframes and the contents of this video, recreate the Houses page for the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry website.